Welcome to Iftar Shots by Fintech. Today I have with us Mr. Sanjay Tripathy, founder of BriskPe. Hi Mr. Sanjay, thank you so much for your time here. Before we get into it, would love to hear from you a bit about what BriskPe does.
So BriskPe is a cross-border payments company which helps to move money of the SMB segment, MSME and SMB segment. So we actually help the exporters to get their money from any of the countries to India, and we provide them with a local payment, local account, so that their client over there can pay it to their local account, and we aggregate the money and bring it much quicker, faster, and cheaper. And with the complete, they can see in the app like end-to-end transaction, and it's completely transaction and transparent. And we have got zero forex fees.
Perfect. That sounds super interesting. If I can ask you one thing, right? In last 6 to 8 months, I have seen a few more cross-border startups, popping up. So what's happening in the ecosystem suddenly?
See, well, what has happened if you look at, Indian export actually used to be very manufacturing-led export or the services-led export, and both are bigger players that were actually doing it. Right. The smaller players were not there in the ecosystem. And banks and most of the financial institutions are geared to support bigger players, not the smaller players.
Right.
So with the e-commerce coming in and B2B e-commerce, D2C sites kind of thing, a lot of the e-commerce-led cross-border e-commerce is really booming up. Similarly, an exporter today is not just doing a invoice-based export. The same guy is also doing a e-commerce-based export through Amazon sellers or a Walmart seller, or there are multiple B2B e-commerce places where he's putting his product, or he's selling from his own site. Let's take a Jaipur.com or any of the Wow Skincare. So they will have customers abroad who are ordering to a site and trying to get money. When you get into smaller ticket size, today the guys have got no option. Mm-hmm. If they go to PayPal or any of those, I call them 1.0 operators, they charge almost 8% on the transaction. Right. And average cost of a cross-border money movement is today almost 6.5%. Gotcha. So it's a huge amount of money for a manufacturing segment. So that is where the opportunity is there, and it takes anything between 5 to 7 days. Most of the time it is opaque. You don't know when the money is going to come unless your bank side the fund. They don't know. Then they will ask for a purpose code from where the money has come from. Then you have to provide a purpose code. Then you have to wait for 1 or 2 days the money get credited. Right. And then finally you have to apply for a FIRA if you're a manufacturing segment, for an exchange, for an inward remittance advice. Then there's a manual, you'll get that. Then you have to regularize the trade. So again, you have to pay almost 1,500 to 1,000 rupees to get that document. So a lot of ways you are actually losing money.
Understood.
So it was not geared for a small value transaction. So what has happened now with the digital payment? One is digital payment. Second is a lot of third-party service provider available who are actually giving an alternate network. So we can actually tie up with those third-party service provider. Currently one of them we have tied up with the Visa Currency Cloud. So with that we can provide local accounts over there. So the party can pay like a local. For example, you become my customer. I'll open a US virtual account for you where your party can pay virtually, and I can collect that money and bring it quicker.
Understood. Makes sense. Having said that, how do you see, this is your first time in one of the IFTA events, right? It's been running for 8 years. So how do you see these kind of events shaping up the ecosystem and probably, helping it?
So, initially if you look at, how this event started mostly as a digital events or startup events or mostly it used to be a company event or a segment event, Then, it is a money, digital money kind of event. Then gradually it has become a fintech because the ecosystem started growing up, and there are multiple segments you can do. You can do one on loans, you can do one on credit, you can do one on payment. So again, I see tomorrow there'll be only event only on, let's say, in a Money 2020 kind, only on payments kind of thing. And then a lot of bigger events also started, like a GFF or a Singapore Fintech Festival. So all those things has given a lot of impetus to the event ecosystem. And there are a lot more founders also. If you look at fintech is one of the prominent categories out of startup ecosystem. Right. That is why, and a lot of people also aspiring to be a fintech founder or the ecosystem partner. Mm-hmm. See, fintech actually works with the banks and most of the financial institutions. So banks are interested, investors are interested, founders are interested. I think that the ecosystem play also works very well in fintech.
Perfect. Having said that, since you're here and you've seen so many startup founders and you've been in the ecosystem for so long, how do you see the entire fintech ecosystem moving forward, let's say in the next couple of years?
No, I think, people, my suggestion always to the founders, I also try to do that, find a real need and work on that real need, which will stay for a longer, basically you're solving for a problem which is a larger problem rather than, simple problem or which can be If tomorrow tech becomes better, it'll get, see today what is happening, we look at it over a long, see everything bank was doing. So fintech founders are, I call them as like small rodents, they're eating every segment and trying to do, I can do a better solution or I can partner with the bank. But if you're just doing a cover version of it, it will not really last. You need to give a very good solution to the customer. You do to disrupt the ecosystem, saying that okay, it is not just like 1.1, it's basically 2.0. Then only it will work. So as long as you look at a bigger need and look at a real solution, and there are so many tools available today which are not available. So rather than doing a better version of the existing one, if you really create a completely new version, it will really work.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I think that was really insightful.
Thank you
so much for your time.
Thank you.